for today's cup of coffee with Scream. Yeah. I think everybody's got that at this point. And the energy, we're recording this on, is it still March?
Yes,
March 24th
it is
of 2025.
Still March.
And it's like, we've got the geomagnetic storms going on. God knows what else. We've got this eclipse energy. We've got some kind of moon energy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And there's been other people, commenting about it. It's just that feeling of being wiped out. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's a matter of wiping the slate clean or what.
Yeah, don't know.
But it's just every day is a level of crazy at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not been as bad. It's been calmer today on X than it has been on the past several days over the weekend. The weekend was nuts.
Yeah, it's been...
So today was just Monday energy. It was almost like a hangover energy in some ways.
In a way, yeah. Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, what's up with that? I haven't been able to do jack shit.
Well, you did get some things done. You thought you weren't going to get anything done, but you had a burst of energy.
No, I didn't even have a burst of energy. I just begrudgingly made it.
Oh.
Not even begrudgingly. It's like, fuck this. I'm going to make this. I made a pizza.
We got to do something wonderful today. We actually got to talk to Esperanza Vince.
Yeah.
Phone call, and it was just such a wonderful thing.
She's a cool person.
Well, yeah. We have some awesome podling pirates.
I was talking about actually doing something productive, like
that was the most productive thing that we could have done today was talk to a friend. I know your art. He's actually started putting his art on a different platform.
Yeah, trying to get it noticed. I haven't, but as far as the commission work, I have not done anything regarding that today.
Well, that's
I
all
barely
right.
felt like drawing today.
Yeah. That's when the energy is this heavy. All you want to do is just sleep, or crawl in a hole someplace.
Yeah,
and then sleep.
I just wanted to lay down most of the day, and I didn't let myself do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been, it's like swimming through mud.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed talking with Esperanza. She is a wonderful human being.
I do appreciate, being able to talk to her as well, because, she's a really cool person.
Yeah.
She's a Pisces.
Yeah.
Which is the Pisces gang. She
does have, I think she may have more than one YouTube channel, but she's also got a website, and you can book she does tarot readings. But she also, as far as astrology and intuitive, goes along with the Pisces.
Yeah. Well, Pisces is a very spiritual sign.
Mm-hmm. It is. So I'll, if I remember to, then put her website, and you can book a reading with her. Mm-hmm. I told her she's going to be busy, because some of this stuff that's coming up, people are not going to know what to do, how to handle it. They're going to be searching out for people who have been through similar, and
I've never had tarot cards read for me before.
No.
I've known people that have done tarot readings, but
you live with a psychic.
Yeah.
So it's like. Okay.
But as far as this, sometimes I don't know enough to ask the question.
This is what is so weird. Because it's a matter of what I see, and for me, it's just glaring. And I will tell somebody what I see, and they won't accept it.
Well, what are you seeing with the art situation here?
Well, some of these things that that I have told you for years, and this is the thing that it is a matter of sometimes when you're too familiar with a person, you no longer see them or hear them, and that's just life. It just is. It's not necessarily this kid; it's every kid.
That makes me feel bad.
Well, it's not intentional. It just is.
Because it's I do my best.
I know you do, but you're around me all the time.
You're the main person. Pretty much the only person I'm around on a daily basis.
But that's, like I said, that is just one of those, that saying, familiarity breeds contempt.
So what you're saying is I need to put myself on the mountain for about a month.
You could. You could. I mean, I think that there's a lot of us that could use a month's retreat from everything
Yeah,
for a
but what
while.
will you do without me for like a month?
I would struggle, but I would probably be all right. I would just struggle.
Who gonna do laundry?
Okay to do the struggle.
Who gonna do laundry?
Well, that's true. I would just pace everything out. Just pace everything out. And I found the cool backdrop that we have, which was somebody's meme, which is from yesteryear. And for those who didn't get to live through the 80s and 90s, and it's like, I'm so sorry. Because that was probably, may have been the pinnacle of our society. I would hate to think that's so, but it may have been. And
I mean, the 80s and 90s and hell, even the early 2000s, were good.
Well,
Before 9/11 hit.
What it is, as far as back when Pizza Hut was a wonderful restaurant. And it used to be wonderful.
When it had the good decorum in it and all that. You could actually go in and eat the actual pizza.
And it's like, I did try to get him to look at the picture before we started recording, but he was fighting cats. And it's got, some of you never read 100 books to earn a personal pan pizza. And it shows.
Hold up.
Because they did have they had these different, incentives. That if you read 100 books and you got a little, check mark or whatever it was, and they didn't have to be War and Peace.
But also, when I was a kid, we didn't go to Pizza Hut.
Well, I don't even know that they still had the program by the time you were born in 99. I don't even know that they still had the program going.
Yeah, but even then, we just never went to Pizza Hut. So,
well, I
only been to Pizza Hut like once.
Well, by that point, like I said, that was, too late.
Yeah.
You missed it. Sorry. There's a lot of things.
Hell, forget the book thing. I'm just saying, in general, we never went to Pizza Hut.
Well, again, it was the point I'm trying to get to. We used to have programs in different places that would be involved in rewarding people for doing things.
Yeah. Yeah,
now
actually,
it seems we got a system.
Stuff.
Now we got a system that gives demerits for people who do things.
Yes, because the ones who are demeriting the people who actually do things are the ones that sit on their ass and bitch about the people that are doing. Mm-hmm. Because they themselves are not doing, and so that's a little bit of projection right there.
But it used to be as far as, and I'm one of these, do I believe that if a child participates in something, yes, give them a cookie or a ribbon or whatever. That doesn't mean they get the trophy. The ones who excel get the better goodies.
Yeah, they get the big ass, the ones that actually win the thing, they get the big ass trophy. The big shiny trophy.
Or whatever.
Personally, I'm alright with just having like the tiny little thing. I'm fine with that. I'm happy. It means I did something.
Right, that you did at least get off your ass and take part. You tried. And I think that does need to be rewarded. But as far as people wanting something for nothing, it's like, did you get out there and do anything? No. Well, you still have to give them something. Why?
Right.
You didn't even try.
Right. It's like you got to try at least a little bit,
But this was the thing about giving incentives. Incentives for positive behavior, for good behavior, whatever you say, that is a needed thing to have reward in some way. And I think that's part of what's going on in society right now. We're not seeing any benefit. It's like the people that are trying the hardest are being punished the hardest.
That's how it's been for a minute. Because literally, it seems like that. It's like you do your damn best, you're going above and beyond, and yet you get shit on.
And that was part of, that is a psychological warfare tactic.
And that sort of goes on with some of the stuff I was listening to today, as far as Mattel laying off 100 and some people. And one of them was their head top designers. that has been with them for 26 years, who had some of the most successful lines that brought them so much money, and yet they laid him off.
Well, if he's smart, then one of these other companies, or he needs to start his own company or whatever.
Yeah, I fully agree. Watch MGA snatch him up.
Yeah, we have seen some CEOs making some really stupid decisions lately. Disney, are you listening? Mm-hmm. And this is what happens when you put people in positions of power that didn't earn it.
Yeah, literally.
They don't know what they're doing. And it's not asking too much to have someone be competent.
The head of Warner Brothers, the head of Disney, the head of Mattel, the head of Ubisoft, EA, all these fucking companies that are running these franchises or businesses into the ground.
Because they don't know what they're doing. They honestly, again...
Because the greed is overriding their ass.
It doesn't even have to do with greed on that. It has to do with social engineering and them trying to force things on people, trying to guilt them, shame them, whatever it is, in some ways, strong arm them.
Oh, yeah, try to force their ideologies onto other people. Yeah.
That's not how that works at all, ever. Mm-mm. Because people will, absolutely at a certain point, they will rebel against that. And we're seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sure are seeing it. We're seeing a lot of it.
So we need to go back to some of the incentive-based programs. And I mean true incentives. And there, that is where you're getting into your corporate greed instead of them, that they're CEOs, that they award those that have done the least amount of work the benefits instead of sharing that amongst the workers and different things like that. And that's where you get a lot of resentment, and that's where you get people that they will do the bare minimum. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But when you've got companies that they understand that, and it's like, hey, we turned a massive profit, so you get a bonus. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Those workers are going to work harder. It's not that hard to figure out.
No.
But companies for a very long time and other businesses have taken advantage, and they view HR departments out of spies. I think that they are despicable, useless things, because for them, they equate people with pencils.
Yeah.
It's just equipment.
Uh-huh. They view them as tools, not people.
And some of the people that work in HR departments, I swear to you, are sociopaths and psychopaths.
Legit. They are not. HR department is supposed to be for the workers.
Uh-huh.
When they are themselves going against the workers, there's an issue.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just absolutely to see the inversion of everything since I was a kid. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. It is just absolutely crazy. But it doesn't take a big brain to figure out if you see somebody, first of all, you got to pay attention. If you see somebody that is going above and beyond, reward that person. Mm-hmm. And but now as far as if it's one of these that's demanding it, like these restaurants that's demanding tips. Now, we don't do the Uber Eats thing because we're out in the boonies. But if I had somebody as far as delivery and that I saw somebody that they had spat on somebody's doorbell. And these urban areas, those people are unhinged.
Do you want to know why people are demanding tips? Is because the companies that they're working for is refusing to pay them an actual decent, minimum wage.
That's illegal, first of all. I mean,
yes, it is illegal, but that's what they're doing.
Then damn it, get another job. Don't take it out on the customers. Now have some sense on that. There is never an excuse for somebody to, do something like that. I would never That would be the only time. And would I file some kind of an assault charge or biohazard charge
Now
in a heartbeat?
there's no excuse for that type of behavior, but I'm saying that's why people are, you know, demanding tips and stuff like that.
No.
Tips were originally for good service.
Now you're pulling a Gen Z thing, and I'm gonna come at you with my Gen X. I'll counter that. I will Uno card you on this. When somebody is hired, they say, "Will you work for this amount?" And the person says yes, or they say no, and then they go on and look for a job elsewhere. Now, while they're in that job, if it is a matter of saying, "Okay, we're going to pay you not," and I don't even know if they still. With restaurant work, it used to be that they paid less than minimum wage so that you could keep your tips and that made up for it. I don't know if that's how that is now or not. That's between the employee and the employer.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at before you said before I was pulling a Gen Z thing.
Yeah.
That's what some of these employers do. Some of them tell them, yeah, we'll pay you this amount of money, and then they actually get hired, and then slowly they start to cut that money off from them.
Okay, there are
and
attorneys.
then sometimes they even still demand them turn in their tips.
There are labor rights attorneys that these people could go to. There are ways to counter that. If somebody is doing something illegal to an employee, yeah, you can file suit against a company or whatever. Mm-hmm. But as far as to take it out on the customer, no. Why would you do that? There is no way.
You're not ever supposed to take it out on the customer. But when the customer is rude to you, like I'm talking about like these Karen type of customers.
Well, you, again, with the job, know what you're going to be facing. Know what you're going to be facing. There is no way, unless I knew an Uber driver or something personally. I have seen too many videos. I would never trust any of them, ever.
Now, those Uber drivers, now some of them are actually really good.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of them.
Some of them are shady as fuck. Like, shady. They're not, and some of them are just, fucking creeps.
So I just,
And that's like the Door Dashers. I don't trust a Door Dasher.
Yeah, I mean,
they've eaten people's food before.
People around here, honestly, I don't know that there would be people around here that would do that because we're not in an urban environment.
Well, the thing is,
and people would also, if they found out that somebody had done that to them, would stand a good chance of having their ass kicked. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. But also, most Door Dashers, you would have to actually live within town limits to be a Door Dasher for this area.
But, and this is, and I'm not picking on you over there, but this is the typical millennial and Gen Z response that those of us that are older have come up against. We will give you a reason, this is why this is. And then the response is, but, okay, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass, but... And this is part of the problem.
That's not what I was saying, though. That some of these people who own these franchises are doing shady things and no one's holding them accountable.
There are legal recourses.
That takes money.
No, it really doesn't. As far as it is, if it's a violation of a worker's rights or something like that, you can usually go and report something like that without it taking money. Yeah.
Well, in that case, some of them just don't want to. Some of them don't want to fuck with it.
Well,
because if they take recourse on it, sometimes they can get blackballed or something like that.
Sure, they can. Sure, they can. But then the other one is to sit there and go, oh, yes, I'm going to be victim. I'm going to be abused. Do you want to do that, or do you want to at least try to make a difference? But now some of the restaurants and stuff, that they're demanding that you tip them a certain percentage. If they have poor service, no.
Right. The thing, and that also, before, once again, being told, no, you're doing a fucking Gen Z millennial thing, what I was going to say was, tips were originally for good service. They were not required.
Yeah, it was above and beyond.
That was if you had a damn good server that, like you said, went above and beyond to help the customer, to accommodate the customer,
Yes.
all that.
And but as far as it being expected, and I have seen where people, it's like, oh, if you can't afford the tip, don't eat out. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Suits me.
Yeah.
I'll go and get the stuff and fix it myself.
It's cheaper to make food at home anyhow.
And some of these businesses are cutting their own throats.
Yeah.
That is poor customer service. And yes, there comes a point in time, if you have a rude, unruly customer, do you have to do things? Yes. Just sit there and go, leave. If you don't want to leave, I will call the police and have them escort you off. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a time and a place for that too. You can't have somebody disrupting everybody else that's trying to enjoy the business. And I mean, society has devolved at this point. I feel sorry for anybody in these areas, some of these areas, that's trying to run a customer-based business. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The world was not always like that. There was a time where you could, if you were a kid, you could read the 100 books and get a personal pan pizza. And damn, they were good too.
Well, that's what happens when you have people literally, like, turning everything on its ear. Mm-hmm. And you're, once again, and this does fall into the line of greed. Because it's like, oh, why would we do that when we could get more money for this thing? We could get more money for this thing. If we just do this, we could give a lesser product for more money, sort of like what McDonald's is doing.
Then that's where...
It's called artificial inflation right there.
And that's how the corporate world, the way that works, is supply and demand. No one has to eat at McDonald's.
No. No one.
And so when you've got a company that keeps raising the prices and gives you less product, stop going there.
Literally. That's like with Mattel. They are artificially inflating the prices of their toys. And so people are buying less and less. Mm-hmm. And not only are they artificially inflating the prices, they're also simultaneously decreasing the quality on that, and have been doing so for many years at this point.
And it's like...
And it is ruining them.
Sure, brand loyalty is not like it used to be. Mm-mm. And that
These
is where...
companies have betrayed the customers.
Yes, exactly. There are options. And it's just like Pizza Hut, when the quality of their food started to go down, and that's not uncommon with restaurants. I don't know why they do that. You've got a good thing going, and then all of a sudden you start cutting corners and all this bunch of stuff, and no. And in someplace else, you do have mom and pop pizza shops that open up that's better, and you're sitting there going, hey, yeah, I'd rather go there.
Yeah. Now there's one thing of prices being a little too, by our standards, a little expensive if it's indie brands, you know? Because it's an independent company.
Absolutely.
It's owned by a small group of people. That's like, you know, Bleeding Edge?
No.
They're the ones that made the Kindergoths and the B-Goth dolls. Like, you have some Kindergoths and stuff like that. That's technically a small company.
Sure.
And so they recently started a Kickstarter to bring back the B-Goth dolls.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be great.
So literally we have 2 new B-Goths coming out. Technically 3, because one is a Kickstarter exclusive. She's half green, half black.
Right.
Like her hair and clothing and stuff like that. And the one that anyone else can get is going to be purple and orange.
Okay.
And then we're going to get our first dark-skinned B-Goth doll after that too.
And the Kickstarter thing, that's great.
Yeah.
Because they're bypassing all of this big business bullshit, going straight to the consumer. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful.
Because they have a... Flat out, Bleeding Edge had a loyal fan base, and has had a loyal fan base all these years.
Yeah.
And their quality, it got better as the series went
Sure.
on.
Well, they
Like,
learned.
literally the series 1 and series 2, maybe even series 3 was a little bit janky. But then literally the quality got better. They stopped yellowing as easy. Their bodies were not like cheap Barbie knockoffs, like cheap.
Right. I'm
They
a
actually
firm.
had their own body sculpts, all that.
I'm a firm supporter and believer in small businesses and stuff, and that's the reason, as far as the small businesses around here that we support. We will go to some of those before we'll go to McDonald's and stuff, where there's a little custard stand near us, and their food's better. Their food is just better.
But see, there's so much shit also going against like mom and pop shops, independent people, like people wanting to make their own independent businesses and stuff like that. There's so much shit that is stacked into place to go against those people.
All the bureaucracy and the regulation, and they have made it damned hard for small business owners. And that has always been the backbone of this nation, or it used to be. And that's just like some of the people online. It's like JJ, she's over there on X, that she is a jewelry maker. And God, she has some the most incredible designs. I mean, just gorgeous.
Yeah, I see them on X all the time. And
Yeah, I
like,
always
they're
share them.
really good.
And to support her or other independent artists and stuff like that in a heartbeat. And that's just like, we haven't broke out the pancake mix yet, but God, I can't remember what Terrence's last name is. But he has a brand of pancake mix.
Yeah.
And syrup and stuff like that. It's a small business. And he's adorable. My God, he's adorable.
That's like that shit when the government Biden's government wanted to ban TikTok and all that shit. They were literally about to kill and harm so many small business
Yeah, I hope
owners.
that they can come to some kind of a resolution on that, because, I mean, as far as them selling the data, does anybody have any privacy on anything left? I know that James
to
O'Keefe
combat that.
had come out with a report today about somebody that was in the government or whatever. I don't know, somehow is involved with the DNA, testing stuff like the 23andMe, and that they had been selling the data to anybody and everybody.
Yeah. That's the thing. It was never about the data. Flat out. It was never about the data, because if it was about the data, they would have been on they would have been on Meta's ass.
Yeah.
They would have been on what you were talking about, asses. They would have been talking about all these other fucking websites.
Yeah.
All of them. All these companies. It was never about the data. Because they themselves, the government, sells our shit too.
Sure. Absolutely. And it's just like, whatever it's going to be,
shutting us up. That's what
whatever
it
it's
was.
going to be is going to be. And it's like, so support local businesses. If you see somebody that's doing good, reward them. Even if it's just, if it's something where you can give them a tip, do that. Just stop and say, hey, you're doing a really good job.
Yeah. But a tip is not mandatory. It should not be mandatory. If you got a shit server, don't tip them.
Yeah.
If you got a shit employee,
Get a new one.
Yeah.
Get a new one. And that was something else that they had even tied the hands of employers there for a while, that if an employee came in and just quit or didn't do anything and had to be fired, that they still had to get so much severance pay, even if they had worked there for a day. And I'm thinking, that's just stupid.
There used to be, what was it? It was almost like a probation period of working. You had to work there for so many days or so many months, and then if you continue to work after that, then if you quit or something like that, they would give you a decent severance pay or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody owes you anything like that. If you quit a job,
Literally.
there is, I mean, if you've worked on some place for years or whatever, as far as a severance pay, I've never had any place that had a severance pay. I've worked places where I came in and they're going, "Oh, we're closing next week." That's always
Literally.
fun.
Yeah.
Or to sit there and go, "I'm downsizing. I no longer need you." Okay. And you just roll with it because that's life.
Yeah.
But some of the ones that are younger, I don't know what the hell they expect. They have these totally unrealistic expectations. And the world is going to disappoint them greatly. I can promise them that. So, anyhow,
But I can also tell you some of the...
Bring back the personal pan pizzas. I will read $100 for a personal pan pizza.
But legit, going back to something that we talked about earlier, some of these higher-ups do not know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, that's going to be the downfall of these companies. And some of the things, and we have seen this, we were discussing this the other day, even as far as Walmart. The original vision of that, Sam Walton, was that he wanted good, affordable, American-made products. He believed in this nation. And that Americana, that was everywhere in Walmart.
Yeah.
You had red, white, and blue, everything. And then when he passed, his sons did not have the same vision. Their vision was greed.
Shit. Their
Him
vision
hitting
was
the
shit.
microphone.
Yeah.
And this has happened a whole lot. There have been people that have sold us out. And it's a matter of doing it in spite of them. I pray to God we succeed. If we don't, at least we can stand in front of God and say we tried, rather than to sit there on our asses, wringing our hands, lamenting, and not even trying. Because you've got a lot of people that are in that category right now.
Yeah.
They are just so black-pilled that it's like,
Yeah, legit. They're so beaten down and black-pilled that they just don't even see the point in it.
Well,
They're just like, well, I'm just going to get beat down more, so why try?
Well, that's making the devil's job easy, and I refuse.
Yeah. It's really frustrating, though, seeing, working for a company, and you're just a cashier or a stalker or something, and you're hearing these people talk about all the shit that they're doing, like over your head and stuff like that, and it's like, y'all are doing that, and you know that they're doing it in the most asinine way possible.
What do you mean? Give me an example on that.
Like, as far as not even coming to, like, every other week changing the layout of the store because they cannot just stay on a cohesive and fluid way of having a store layout.
Yeah.
Like, back rooms, like rooms that customers don't even go in, switching up the layout in those every other week.
Yeah, and again,
for no reason. And just to go back to the original.
Because and you've always got people like that I don't know why it is that some of the least competent people are, get higher up on the food chain. That ain't mine to figure out. But it does happen. And you get paid the same whether you move it around or not.
Literally. But still, it's like we had a good functional system going, and y'all fucked it up. And you're wondering why we're struggling now.
Yeah. And it happens. There are businesses that started out that were really good. Bad management has destroyed many companies over, past few decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing ends and something else begins. Everybody's having paranormal. Everybody's having supernatural. Did you ever get to have the personal pan pizza? Would you read $100 for a personal pan pizza now? And I would say I would want a page count, because kid books is not the same thing as,
You know what? If it's kid books, I could get away with that. I could get away with that, reading $100.
But it was a cool incentive. There was a lot of them, even if it was like for exercise. They had the President's Award, whatever it was, and you'd always have some of those kids that were very athletic, and
But
they would always get those.
But also that was during the time where, you know, internet was not really a popular thing. And so children had more time to read books.
Everybody still got the same 24 hours that they do now that they did 40, 50 years ago.
But it's different.
It's what you choose to do with it.
It's different.
Not really. They've got a button on those things. And this is what it is a lot of, you've got people that have very little self-control, very little self-discipline. It was like I was watching this kid, it was crazy watching him do this. He was some kind of martial artist, and I don't know what discipline he was from, but these somersaults, and it looked like he was mechanical. I mean, it was just like, and it's like, how could somebody do that? Self-control, self-discipline, martial arts teaches that. Not everybody studies martial arts because not everybody wants to be self-disciplined.
I don't think it's just self-discipline on that. Why a lot of people don't do martial arts.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as...
I don't think they want to get the shit beaten out of them.
There are... Well, it's not all of them that you have to do sparring. But as far as there's other disciplines that teach us self-control and discipline. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, yoga. There's a lot of that in that. It's just different.
But also a good portion of the world runs on the internet now.
Yeah, but you don't have to play that game. There are options. There are.
There has to be a healthy balance, like for real.
Yeah. Anyhow, do you want to tell them where we can be found? It's Aries season. Esperanza. You see what I mean? See what I mean?
Can we get out of Aries season fast? Because I really don't like this energy, and I have it in me.
Oh, God.
You can find us on BitChute, Rumble, and YouTube at Rolando's Cup of Coffee with Scream. Also, check her out on X, previously known as Twitter, at Rolanda, COCWS. You can find me on there too, That Alien Sable.
Yeah. It's going to be a long Aries season, ain't it?
How long?
It's going to be long. Yeah. Pray for me. Oh, God, pray for me. Know that you are loved.
With the Virgo.
Treat other people the way you would like to be treated. And Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cut.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.